In this video, we're going to talk about how to add questions to the quiz, both directly to the quiz and to the question bank, and then adding questions from the question bank to the quiz. So in the last video, we went through the basic quiz structure and setting up the shell. And now we're going to go to the meat of it and setting up the questions themselves. So in the same example, the sample quiz, once you've clicked on Edit Quiz, you're given options to add questions. So you click on Add. To add questions directly to the quiz, we'll start with that, you can click on New Question. So then you're given lots of options for different types of questions to add. Most commonly used question types are multiple choice, true, false, matching, and essay. Short piece of advice here, the short answer question I don't recommend using unless you have very specific answers that you expect from students. Moodle will auto-grade a short answer question, but if the students mistype that question or that answer, it will mark it incorrect. Now you can override that, but it's very specific. So if you're wanting students to write a short answer to a question, I recommend using the essay instead. Just a piece of advice. So let's start with just a general multiple choice question. So you click on Add. The question name is only for you. This doesn't show for the student. What I usually recommend here is putting something here that is descriptive for you. This is particularly helpful if you're going to have multiple questions, or if you're going to end up putting them in categories for different question banks, for different quizzes, or even in different courses. It'll help you find them later. So something like Chapter 1, Question 1, something like that. Or if it's a particular topic, you could put that in there too. Then for your question text, this is where you actually write the text. You can also use images, a URL, something like that. So we'll just do something simple like, what is your favorite color? Very academic here. We're going to skip the default points for now. The default point is always 1. You can set that here, but I'm going to show you how to set them all later. We're going to skip general feedback. The default is that they can only answer one of the options, but if you want them to be able to multi-select, so if you have multiple answers that are correct, then you can change this to multiple answers allowed. And the default is also to shuffle the choices so that they don't always appear in the same order. You can also change that. So then we put in our possible answers. So we'll say blue, green, red, orange. Okay, let's do that. You're going to leave the grade as none for all of the wrong answers. The one that is correct, you're going to set that to 100%. So if you had selected multiple answers are allowed, then you would set one is 50% and another one is 50%. Most people stop there. You can also come down here and give additional feedback if you would like for any of their answers. And for multiple tries, you can give them hints and deduct points for multiple tries. That's getting a little fancy. We're just going to do the simple stuff. So then you hit Save Changes. And now we have one question in our quiz. And you can preview what that looks like for a student with this preview button. And it just shows the question, possible answers, and that's pretty straightforward. Okay, so then on the right hand side you see that this says default 1 point. All right, it's also going to add up the total of the points for all of the questions here. So since we have one question at 1 point, and this says 1, that's correct. Our maximum grade says 10. The Moodle's going to do some weird calculation where it's going to divide the total number of points divided by the maximum grade to get the ultimate grade in the grade book. So you want these numbers to match, or Moodle's going to do a weird calculation. It'll be correct, but probably not what you want. So if you're only going to have one question, you need to make sure that this is worth 10 points or adjust this. So we'll go ahead and add another question, and we'll get back to that in a minute. And let's add an essay question. So again, we'll say Chapter 1, Question 2, and we'll just say, really briefly, tell me about your favorite vacation memory. Okay. And for essay questions, the default is an HTML editor. It requires students to enter text, and it gives them an input box size. 15 lines should be sufficient, but you can go up to 40 lines if you want them to write quite a bit. You can allow them to upload documents as well, which can be really helpful if you want them to show work for scientific or mathematical equations or something like that. So you can allow them to upload documents here as well. And that is pretty much it for that. So we hit Save Changes, and again, you can preview that question here. So this is all it looks like for the student, and they have tools here so they can actually use equation editors. They can come in here and they can type equations, they can do images, text, HTML, whatever you want them to do there. Okay, so let's just say we want to have these two questions, and we're going to keep it at 10 points for the maximum grade because this is just a simple little quiz. So we're going to edit the maximum grades for each of these. So we're just going to click on the pencil icon, and we're going to type in 5. We have to hit enter for it to save. If we click off of it, it won't save. So I'm going to click 5 points for that question. And the same thing for this one. Now you can see our total points is 10, and our maximum grade is 10. So now they're equal, and we are ready to go, and we're going to hit save. All right, so now our quiz is ready to go. So the next step is going into the question bank itself and adding questions, which is how I would recommend you add them, particularly with multiple quizzes, multiple classes, multiple chapters. It's much easier to organize your questions and then pull them in after the fact. It also allows you to randomize and keep them organized in a way that allows you to reuse questions. So we're going to go back to our course proper, and we're going to click on the settings icon. And we're going to go down to More, and then we're going to scroll down, and you'll see Question Bank. So the first thing you may want to do is actually create some categories. So we're going to click on Categories. So the default, it creates a category for the overall course. And then if you've created a quiz, it'll create a default category for that quiz. So we can go and we can create categories, and we can put them in the default course here. Or if you wanted to share them with others, I think you have this capability. I need to double check. You may be able to make them available for other people. So we could create a category for, let's say, Psych 110. Okay. So now we have a category, and we want to add questions. So then we're going to go to the Questions tab, and we're going to switch from the default Psych 110. So now we're in this category. Now we can create new questions, and it's going to look the same as when you added them directly to the quiz itself. You're just going to be adding them to the question bank. So then you can go through the same process. So we can add multiple choice, true, false, and we can just go through the same thing. So we can say chapter 4, question. I'm just going to pretend we're way into this. And I have no idea what psychology questions are. Maybe that's maybe something chemistry or yeah, psychology. All right. This is my brain not working, but you get the point. And we'll just pretend that's it. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. No idea. Save changes. Okay, so now we have one question in our question bank. We can tag this, we can edit it, we can duplicate it, we can preview it, delete it. All right, create a new question, true, false. Again, label it. Select the correct answer. So if today is Tuesday when they're taking the quiz, the correct answer would be true. You can give them feedback. Save that, preview that just so you can see what it looks like. So they say true, false. Great. Okay, so now you have some questions here that are in this category. So just to show you how this works, I'm going to go back to my quiz. I'm going to click on the quiz. And if I wanted to add additional questions, you can only do this before anyone has taken the quiz. And I'm going to click on the settings icon and go to Edit Quiz. So I have these two questions here. If I wanted to add additional questions, I can say Add from Question Bank. So then it's going to pull up. It automatically, you can see it automatically added the two questions that I added directly to the quiz to my question bank for test course. But I want to pull from this other category. So I'm going to switch to that one. And I want to add these two questions. So if I want to add them both, I can click here. If I just wanted to add one of them, I could select the plus there. And I'm going to add those questions to the quiz. And you can see it's created this new page. I can create pages in between each one, so each one's on its own page, or I could make them all appear on their own page. Another helpful thing you can do is, particularly when you're teaching remotely, is you may want to add the academic honesty statement. And so what a lot of people are doing is going in and adding headers. And so after a single question, you can come in here and add a new section heading. And so you could say, edit here and say, academic honesty statement. And then you can move these questions. And you can shuffle just these should have moved that above. But anyway, you get the point. And then I can add another section heading down here. And if I wanted another academic honesty statement that they actually had to sign, and I would click here and add a new question, and I would do an essay signing academic honesty statement here. And then you could have them type in that, or they could upload something, and there you go. Okay, and then I can actually move these up. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. I actually want to move these down. So you can reorganize some things a little bit here. I did that in the wrong place. You're going to bear with me while I figure things out. And I want all of these on the same page. Actually, I want to break in between those. Okay, so now we need to change the points on this. We'll make this worth 5 points, this worth 5 points. So now, and this will keep it 1. So now you can see our total points are 21, but our maximum grade is only 10. So you can either, most people won't make this worth a point. They make that worth 0 or 1, make that 20. So you want to update that to 20 points so that those are the same, so that the gradebook doesn't do something weird again. Save again, and we're good. I know this is long, bear with me. The last thing I want to show you is how to add a random question from the question bank. And basically you just click on add, and we'll do that down here. Click on add random question, and it will allow you to pick a random question from question bank. So if you had 50 questions and you wanted to pull 5 random questions, it would pull 5 random questions from that question bank. And the benefit of that is that if you have those shuffled, each student is going to get a different random question, which can help with academic dishonesty in itself. So we don't have 5 questions, so I'm not going to actually follow through with that, but I just wanted to show you how to do that, and it would just pull them randomly, which is another reason to have your categories and questions organized well. That is the nuts and bolts of adding questions to the quiz.